Okay, we began a sugi yesterday, the sugi of Charata and Pesach. We said that we spoke at a beautiful Ran that a Pesach is the best way to go ahead and remove a neder. The removal of a neder through Pesach is the best because it's retroactively basically saying, had I known, I never would have made that neder, and it's kind of like a neder b'tois. We then introduced the concept of Charata, where I know I made the neder, but I made it, I regret it, usually because I got angry, and as a result, we're going to digress to do anger today. This is the sugya tucked away over here. It's a sugya of anger. It's an angry daf. 22. It's what was that running back then? 22. Anyway, yeah. No, this guy. Anyway, so the we said that charata. Some people say you could. Everyone holds that Pesach you could go ahead and remove a neder with machlokes by charata, meikara. But everyone said charata mehashta, regretting within from Mikan and Lahabah from that time onwards wouldn't work, and we found that we left off with a Gemara that we're going to go over again because we kind of cut it off in the middle for a reason because it was short. Anyway, let's start it off. It's on Chaf Beis Amid Aleph. Let's go down a few lines. Bar Bartei Rabbi Yana, the son of the daughter of Rabbi Yanai. Bar Bartei Rabbi Yanai, the son of the daughter of Yanai Saba, meaning Rabbi Yanai Saba's grandson. Asla Kamed Rabbi Yanai, he came in front of his Zayda. He came in front of his Zayda, and they said to him, Amalei, Rav Yanai said, Ilu Havi Yodat, if you would have known the Paschin Pinkosech, that when you went ahead and made this neder, that they opened up your ledger in Shemayim, and they checked into your actions, Nadrat, would you have gone and made this neder? No, this is a Pesach. So Amalei, so the grandson said to Rav Yanai, I went up to Sharia, and Rav Yanai went ahead and matted it. So Amrab Abba, my kira, what's the pasuk? How do you know that they open up your ledger in Shemayim when you make an eder? It says Va'achen Nedarim levaker. After Nedarim levaker, we spoke out yesterday, the Ran, that a person who makes an eder holds himself for a chassid. After all, it's enough thing that's usher on yourself, what? And you make yourself like a chassid. So, you're a chassid? Let's talk and see if you're a chassid. We'll go ahead and check it out. So, and there's a pasuk that they open up your ledger. The achva gav, the pasuk Rabbi Yanai lay, and even the Rabbi Yanai use that as a Pesach. Anon loy paschin lay. We do not. We don't use this as a means of a Pesach, right? What? Yeah, every ned you could get at. Now, why don't we use it? So let's see the rush, guys. The rush. V'loy paschinon bahada. Why won't we go ahead and say the opening up your ledger in Shemayim is a viable Pesach that will say that we let you off the hook? The afilim einim ischaret, even if he doesn't have charata, what he's going to say shem ischaret. Lechatzef loyma she'einim ischaret, afa b'shemakpid lav in Shemayim. In other words, you say to a guy, had you known they're opening up your ledger in Shemayim when you made this neder, he's going to... What's he going to say? He's going to say, no. No, he doesn't have the chutzpah. He really could be the possibility exists that that does have charata. But in this scenario, he would, such a severe thing, that opening up your ledger in Shemayim, what are you supposed to say? No. So Memela, his charata is not a real charata, so therefore, ein paskinon, we will not go ahead and use this. All the Gemara that's going to be coming on, this is excuse the pun, a Pesach, to understand the Gemara, right? Of understanding the Gemara, that these are all scenarios. What do you expect me to say? He's too embarrassed to tell the truth that he really doesn't care. He's too embarrassed. So Mela loy paskina. We won't go ahead and use this as a Pesach. Okay. So next case. What?
Anytime the Mishnah ever says that everything is that everyone's watching everything you do. What's the ramifications of the book opening up? Everything you do is always being watched anyway.
Okay, so I'll tell you. Here's Pshat. We have a concept of that we have something and it's all there, but not necessarily is always looked at. Sometimes a person does something that causes an action that, okay, we'll look at that opens up the book. In other words, everything you do is written down for sure, but not always read. when you do something that, oh, you're ready. Okay, you're telling me you're chassid. I'll check it out and see if it's true. There are other scenarios also where we find that they opens up the book in Shemayim. I think if you do something where you sign more Torah al-Mana, certain times you do something that is very severe, you may
It raises the red flag.
Yeah. So that's why I mean it's there in Shemayim, Yankel, but it's not always red.
That's the
What?
You make someone actually, they open up the book because now the person's.
That's Ayin Hara. We say it by Ayin Hara also, right? Right. Ayin Hara, that same idea. Yeah. Right. It's good.
You don't want to sort of.
Don't rock the boat.
Yeah.
Don't rock the boat. No, in the vernacular we say, "Let sleeping dogs lie."
Exactly.
That's really it, right? Let sleeping dogs lie. Don't poke the bear. We have, you know what? Let's, as we say in German, "Lozim izaru," something like that, Lenny, right? Something that made you feel like you were 1933 in Munich or something. Okay, anyway.
I got scared.
Anyway, so anyway, a lot of people on the screen. Anyway, it says and not only won't you have a Pesach, that one, here's an additional one. Here's another one where we won't have a Pesach for. The Amar Rabba Baruch Chana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, my Pesach le Rabbi Gamliel lahu Saba. What Rabbi Gamliel was he Pesach lahu Saba? Usually use Saba as Elio Navi. It's very interesting. Anyway, yesh boita kimat kares charev. The lashon boita, guys, lashon bita, shuas bita, uttering. The yesh boita kimat kares charev. Those people who utter like the stabbings of a sword. Ulishoin chachamim marpa, and it's the lashon of the chachamim is that cures. So kol haboita, anyone who makes a neder is a bitoy. Royal doikroi b'cherev is right to be gone ahead and pierced by a sword. So elolashon chachamim marpa, So in other words, had you known that you are saying a neder, would you be pierced like a sword? Would you have made the neder? So what does the Rosh say? What's he supposed to say, right? Yeah. So now this is the reason why we like paschina, because the guy, you don't want to go ahead and go against the what a person would expect you to say. So therefore, loy paschina, because maybe he doesn't mean it. Now another example of loy paschina and bahada achronai. So here's another one. The Tanya, Reb Nosson Omer hanoider. Someone makes this. This is the famous one. Hanoider ki'ilu bona bama. Anyone who makes a neder is like he builds a private mizbeach. Now, in the times of when we went into Eretz Yisrael during the midbar, there were no bamis. When we got into Eretz Yisrael, bamis were permitted. For the 14 years, the Mishkan was in a place called Gilgal, was permitted. Then after Gilgal, after the land was conquered, they set it up in Shiloh. The 369 years of Shiloh was not permitted. Then the Mishkan went to Nov and Givon. During that time, it was permitted. So, and after that, when we had the Beis Olam, it was not. So a person makes a neder, it's like he's building a bama when? In the time when bamas were not permitted. And now, building a bama is one thing, but being makrav on it is worse. Keeping the neder, not being taking off the neder, kilu makrav love carbon, right? It's like you makrav a carbon on it. Let's see the ran, for this, a famous ran for its sushtel between making a neder and building a bama. Hanoida kilu banabama, says the Ran. What are we speaking about? B'shas isra bamas, in the time when bamas were not permitted. This is speaking about the time when bamas were not permitted. V'nir be'enai, de'lohachi midamin le'leboina bama. This is what appears to me. Why is this compared to building a bama? Mishum the solak adaite the noider the mitzvah ka'avid. The guy who makes an neder, you know what he thinks? I'm doing a mitzvah. Drachmana asrei b'mili de surah, v'yunami asa nafshe. You know what? Guess what? The Torah goes ahead and asks things upon me. I'll also ask the things upon me. I'll also do it. In other words, so I'm doing what the Torah would want. The Torah, you made a mistake. The Adrabah, leboina bama dummy. You by doing this like building a bama. Didn't he the Rachmana as hare lakruve karbanis b'fnim? Right, that you were supposed to be karbanis inside the Beis Hamikdash, as hard like loisiv Allah lebanis bama ulachar b'chutz, and you're warned not to go ahead and do it. In other words, just like building, you're able to permit a carbon, but you're not permitted to go ahead and do it outside. who are din, what the Torah asks upon you, but you're not permitted to make more Yisur upon yourself. The Rachmana also le devarim asurim, and ki ma'isiv iu amay the as Rachmana, and when he adds on to that what the Torah asks upon him, pasha, he's making a mistake. He's being negligent. Ki inyan shalom Rabbi Yushalmi b'perek poisnula loy dayacha b'masha asra Torah el shata oisalecha devarim acherim. It's enough that the Torah makes Isur on you. You're making more. The Shaykh Beinami Hailishna Mishum Denoida Matfis B'Karbon. That's why Boina Bama. The Kiman She'ain Karbonai Rotzi Nimsa Kiboina Bama Umakar B'Chutz. V'Amekaimai Kloima She'enu Nishal Alav. He doesn't take off the neder. Kilihikav Al Oisa Bama Karbon V'Chai Mishum Shchutei Chutz. So we see that this is brought down La Halacha, by the way. It's in Hilchos Nedarim. It's brought down La Halacha. This is like building a bama and being like Shchutei Chutz. Shchutei Chutz is a karis. You know, again, one of the things you walk away to the Masechta is the Torah, the power of the tongue, and how it has to be used, You know, really, it's a mussar shmuz. The whole Masechta in the Nedarim is a mussar shmuz. Shvuas in the Nedarim, it's stay away. So we don't go ahead, what? And now we had so far two possible openings that we don't use. One, the Shemayim ledger, and two, the being stuck with a stud. Why? Because what's he supposed to say? Now we have a third. What's the third? Now there's two parts, guys. There's building the bama and keeping the neder. Making the neder is building it, and keeping it and not taking it off is being mekayim it. Good? So now, there's two possibilities. Fellas, watch. Had you known it's like building a bama, would you made it? Had you known that you mekayim it, would you be what? Would it be tantamount to being makriv on it? Would you have made it? So there's two possible pesachim over here. So when we say ein paschinon, that you don't use it as a pesach, is that going on both? Is it going on one? Which or only one of them? Okay. So let's see. That's what the Gemara is going to tell us now. The time of Nasanina. Hanoida kilu bona bama, bamekaima kilu makrav love carbon. Beresha paschinon. The resha, meaning, had you known that you build a bama if you made the neder, would you have made the neder? That you would use a pesach. But beseifa, had you keeping it, right? It's like bringing abaya ama paschinon, rava amalei paschinon. So the Reisha and the Sefer going on the two Chalakim, according to this Lashon, according to this Lashon, guys, then everyone says you could use the first line of building Bani Abama, but the second one's a Machloikis. Rav Kahana, Masli Lo Lahol Shmaitza B'Hadi Lishna, the way we just learned it, that the Machloikis is why, on the second part about being Mekayim Deneda. Rav Yomi Masli Hachi, the Sefer Loi Paschinon, right? In the Sefer, you won't not. Everyone agrees Loi Paschinon. Had you known you're going to put on the bama, it's like you're bringing with chutz. But regarding building a bama, abayu on paskina, rav amalei paskina. Good. So the machlokes is exactly where is it? Machlokes in the reisha to say. The hilchos halacha is loy paskinan, loy bereisha of loy b'sefer. You do not find an opening neither by building the bama nor by keeping the neder. Right? V'loy paskinan nami midishmul, and Shmuel also. We won't use as a possible Pesach. Again, all these are possible Pesachim. You won't use this as well. To Amar Shmuel, Afal Pishim Mekaimai Nikrei Rasha, right? Even if you're Mekaimai, you call the Rasha, right? Now, Amar, in other words, had you known, guys, you called the Rasha, would you have made the neder? So what are you supposed to say? Yeah. In other words, you're forced to say, this is the Rasha's clear, right? I mean, had you known you called Rosh, you made the neder. Yeah. What are you supposed to say? And that's why it's not a good Pesach. It's Geshmak, right? The Rosh. All these reasons going down the line. What are you supposed to say? Of course, you're going to say without meaning it, and therefore we don't use them as a Pesach. Because again, these are scary things. I mean, I'd be very scared. My crow that if you make a neder, you call it a Rasha. It says v'chisechta lindar. If you stop making a darim, lo yibachachet. Stop making a neder, it won't be called a chayta. V'yolav chadala chadala. Ksiv hachak chisechta lindar. Ksiv it says by Eoiv Sham and by the kever v'shoyim chadlu roiges. They start when Sham Rishayim Chodlu Roiges. The Rishayim, when they're in the Keva, they stop making me angry. So what do you see? That Chodlu is a Rasha is associated with that. So therefore, will go ahead and dash in Chadala to teach me what? That you're a Rasha if you make a neder. Rabbi Yosef, Afaname Tanina. Allah, we also said, Kinidre Kasherim. If a person says, this is us upon me, like Nidre Kasherim, Le'am Aklum, you know why? Because Kasherim don't make Nedarim. You know, you're matfis in a kosher, right? The kosher doesn't make Nedarim, or Shruis, certainly Shruis. And Kinidre Rishayim, Neder. B'nazeh, b'karban Rishua. However, like the Nidre Rishayim, it's considered a Neder regarding a Kabbalas Naziris, bringing a carbon and a Shua. So you see that Rishayim do make Nedarim. They do make Nedarim. Okay, now, getting to the sugya, why in the world would a person make a neder in the first place? Why in the world? I mean, it's an unbelievable thing. You know, guys are not an amoritz, a normal guy. Because you think about it, because in a fit of anger, anyone can do anything. In a fit of anger, anyone can be guilty of anything. And in fact, this is the sugya of anger. The Gemara digresses into anger. Why? Because what would bring a person to make a neder in the first place? It would be anger. It would be anger. So that since that would be that. Amar Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani Amar Rabbi Yonasan Kol hakoyes kol minei gehenim shalten by. Anyone who gets angry, all types of gehenim are shaylit on him. You know, he belongs to gehenim. Shenemar v'hase kas milibcha. Remove the kas from your heart. V'haver ra b'bsarecha, and remove the ra from your basa. Vein ra el gehenim. There's no ra except gehenim. Shenemar kol pol Hashem l'ma'aneu. All the works of Hashem for His sake. Right? If you're not worried about a spiritual ending in Gehenim, in this world you got something to worry about. Because you know what? We have Edus over here, that anger can go ahead and cause hemorrhoids. And hemorrhoids is not a geschmack thing. Shenemar, no, I was going that direction. V'nasan Hashem lecha. Whatever floats your boat, Doc. V'nasan Hashem lecha. Sham leiv reges v'kilyoin einayim v'davay nafesh. And Hashem will give you sham in gullus, leiv rugged, an angry heart, v'chilyoin einayim, a longing of the eyes, v'davay nafesh, in the suffering of your nefesh. What's the malady that goes ahead and causes your eyes to be dim and tremendous suffering? I would say that is tachtonios. That is, in fact, that is hemorrhoids. So anger causes that gehenim to be shiloh upon you, and anger causes in this world, it causes tachtonios. Okay, next Gemara, famous Gemara, very famous Gemara. Ula bin Miske la'Arad Yisrael. Ula was going up to Eretz Yisrael, and it's Lavile Trei b'nei Chuzai b'Hadei, and two people, members of the house of Chazai, were coming with him. Now Chuzai means they were from Mechuza, but look at the Rosh guys. Trei b'nei Chuzai, Yehudim hayu. These were Jews. You know, but you're not supposed to go with Goyim on the way. But these were Jews. So you had two people going with Ula, and they were Jews. Now, Kom Chad, one got up, and Shachte Lechavre, and he slit the throat of the other guy. So obviously he got angry, and he slit his throat. Amalei Ula, he said to Ula, Yosavdi, I did a good job. I did, you know, he said to Ula, you know. So Amalei, Ula said, yeah. Ula said, yeah, wow. Ula was not any part of this guy. You did a great job. Not only that, uparole beis hashchita. And I don't know if Ula told him to do this or Ula himself did it, but he went ahead and he separated the slit that the guy should die quicker. If you look at the Rush guys, the Rush is very clear. Uparole beis hashchita, machmis moira hichsik yadav, mashma from the Rush that he himself did it. He was, in other words, because of the fear of this person, he literally strengthened his hand. The gam kadeshi yimar lamus, in order that the person should die what quickly. So he did it to show him, look, you know what, I'm on your team. And in addition, he wanted the person that he was going to die. I guess the blood comes out quicker, and That's it. That's what it means.
That's the whole life support Shiloh over here, right?
That is okay. That's what Moshe is true, right? This Gemara, guys, is the source. Are you able to go ahead and hasten the guy's death? This little line of Gemara is Moshe true, right? Very good. This is Uncle. This is it. Okay, well, we're going to shell on something else. We're going to shell on wild. I shot that. I sent it out today. I'm still going crazy. Anyway, Kios l'kamed Rabbi Yochanan. Ul was feeling guilty. Kios l'kamed Rabbi Yochanan. When he came in front of Rabbi Yochanan, Amalei, he said, "Dilma chas v'sholem achsaki de oive avera." Maybe I was machsaki de oive avera. You know, this guy, he killed this guy, and he said it's okay. Maybe I did the wrong thing by going ahead and helping him out. So Amalei, so said Rabbi Yochanan to him, "Nafshecha is salty. You saved yourself." That's also shayla. Now you're able to save yourself. You know. So Katama Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said the following: Michtik Siv. Right. I want to make sure I get the pasuk, so I have it over here. Okay. So what does the pasuk say? V'nas Hashem l'cha sham leiv roiges the Bavel Ksiv. Then Hashem will go ahead in Galus in Bavel. He'll give you an angry heart. That's in Bavel. So he was wondering, Rabbi Yochanan, he thought he was killed in Eretz Yisrael because Ula was coming up to Eretz Yisrael. He thought he was killed in Eretz Yisrael. So Rabbi Yochanan was wondering out loud, like, how you talking? How's it possible that the anger would have happened in Eretz Yisrael? Ad kedei kach, another person would kill another person. The anger's in Bavel. Says Amalei. So Ula told him, Hahu shaita loy avrin in Yardana. At this point in time, we didn't get across the Yarden. At this point in time, we didn't get across the Yarden. So I have over here on the phone, I have a piece from the Chassam Sofer. Chassam Sofer as a piece over here that was really, really fabulous piece. Okay, so first he says they didn't pass over the Yarden. Now, fellas, in Masechta Makis, they had three. There were 6 Ari Miklat, 3 in Eretz Yisrael, and 3 in Eretz Yarden, and they say Eretz Yarden. What do you need? Because there were rights found there. So you see, right? So in other words, Upirish ve'Ever Eretz Ever Yarden Makam Shlitas Hakas. In Eretz Yarden got angry. Adrabba. You know, it's mashma that in Eretz Yarden, Makam Uberetz Ever Yarden Makam Shlitas Hakas. Meaning you can be shoyler of a kas. In other words, in Evar Yadin you can control it. Adrabba, Matzina begilad, Nefisha Reitzchem. In Gilad you found, which is Evar Yadin, you found a multitude of Reitzchem. Marcus Daftes. So it says some Seifa, Avagav who Kodesh B'Kedushas Eretz Yisrael, Kamakam Hach school of not getting angry, the Leka Kas, whom Evar Yadin, me Arav died. Stafkin in Eretz Yisrael, not Evar Yadin. In other words, it has other schools over there. But not getting angry is not one of them. Now, this is not the part. The second over here, what does the pasuk say? Sham leiv roiges the Bavel Ksiv. You don't have it? I sent it out. What? Okay, now this is the person who looked this up for me. See, he has it highlighted. I use the Rabbi Raps. I learned with him upstairs. He has that's called Oitzah Chachma. So anything he needs, and he's graded it. So I gave him these words, and it showed up. Now here's what it says: Ki matbeya haaretz hakadoisha legadol anshe chesed. It's the nature, literally the matbeya, the mint. It's the nature of Eretz Yisrael, Eretz Hakadoisha, to legadol anshe chesed. And if the people of chesed, they're not possible to be murderers. Va'afilu b'shas kishloinam shel Yisrael, and even when Bnei Yisrael were down in the dumps, nikru malcheha malchei chesed. It's kings who call Malchei Chesed. Kimivur Gabi ben Hadad Melachim. Umishim Hachi who Isiru HaKananim veHischastu Imohem. Moshe warned us. Get rid of them. Get them out. They're going to be bad for you. But since we were in Eretz Yisrael, Moshe warned us when? Outside. Did we going to do it? Absolutely. But what happened to us when we got into Eretz Yisrael? We became Malei Chesed. So what did we do? We left the Canaanim. And that led to what? Intermarriage and left all kinds of garbage. Umishim Hachi, Richem Shol al Agag. Shol had Rachmanis on Agag. Why? because he was a Bal Chesed. Ki Binyamin v'Shiftoi me'udid Yosel l'Chesed ki noilad be'Eretz Yisrael. Says the Chassam Sofer a Chiddush Nifla. Who was Shaul a descendant of? Binyamin. Who was the only Shiftei Kol that was born in Eretz Yisrael? Binyamin. So Binyamin, they were ultimate Bal Chesed. And that's why Shaul Rachmanis says, unbelievable chesed. That's this pasuk, that's this Gemara. How could it be? Rabbi Yochanan was wondering, how can it be if you're in Eretz Yisrael? How is it possible for you to be in Eretz Yisrael? And
Okay.
this
2 hours and 3/4.
Okay, it was.
we have to hear. So Rabbi Yochanan was wondering, how is it possible that murder took place in Eretz Yisrael? It's a land that's what Matbeya's Gedola Goyim Chesed. So that's why he's wondering. And from this pasuk, that pasuk was said in Bavel, Sham, Roiges, that's anger in Bavel. Eretz Yisrael is the opposite. It's unbelievable. What? So very good. I was wondering on Plegish Begiva. So I asked Rabbi Raps. Rabbi Raps is a Chaim Belina. He said, Shmuz from Rav Hutner, that snus is misplaced chesed. Snus is a type of misplaced chesed. It's it's misplaced. In the Torah, sometimes they say it's an act of chesed. Tevelu, it's a chesed. They did chesed. The lashon of snus is used in the Pasha of Achimos. They use lashon of chesed because snus is misplaced chesed. That they pack it. It's a very good hair. It's very good. It's a tifa machshava, but I think it's fabulous. You know, there are many pshatim in shol, but that nishrash in Binyamin, that they had this midah of chesed. You know, like you are who you are. Who they know, we suffer. We are right. We bleed green, and that's the problem. What can you do? Girls still ask, how come Rabbi Stern you never use a green marker? But you know. Guys, geschmack? Very geschmack. Okay. So Rabba Rav Chana, top line. Rabba Bar Rav Huna, Kol HaKoyes, anyone who gets angry, Afilu Shechina Einish Chashuva Kenegda. Even the Shechina is not Chashuva Kenegda. Shnemar, Rosha Ki Goiva Apoy. Again, the lashon of Goiva Apoy is what? Is lashon of Af. Af is anger. So Russia, it says, Russia goy v'apoy bal yidroish ein elokim kol mizimaysav, and umaysiv tipshus. Not only ein elokim kol mizimaysav, any of his thoughts. Rabbi Yomi medifli, not only is he what he is the shechina he doesn't think about, but it's maysiv tipshus. In other words, what happens? Rabbi Yomi mishkach talmudai, he'll forget his learning. Umaysiv tipshus, and it comes a fool. Shnemar ki, the pasuk says, ki kaas b'cheik ksilim yenuach. Kaas, it goes and it stays in what? In the ksilim. Now, if you're considered a fool, then obviously what? You must have gone ahead and forgot your Torah. So you're a fool. Now, not only that, it says "Kasil yifresh iveles," and the Kasil yifresh iveles is foolishness, is tipshus. It adds on even more. Now you think about it. In the Geras Ramban, the first thing he warns his son about is kas. I don't know about you. Did you ever witness road rage? If you ever witnessed it live, you never saw anything like it. A person's not thinking anything that you'll do in that moment. You'll do anything. How many people murder in a second because of kas? It's really unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Kill everybody. The Zohar is also true. It's another Gemara. You're not thinking about anyone. Think about yourself. You're serving yourself. But not only that, it's if you're a Bal Kaisin, you have more. You can guaranteed. You want to know your Cheshbon and Shemayim without opening your ledger. You got more avoinus than Mat and Schusim. Shenemar, because what does the pasuk say? It says Ubal Chema Rav Posha, and Bal Chema is as much as Rav Posha. Amar Rav Achanina Ilmalei Chatul Yisrael or Lei Chatul Yisrael Lei Nitn Lehem El Chamisha Chemshei Torah V'Seif Yishul Bilvad. In other words, we wouldn't have needed all the Nevi'im. The Nevi'im is Musa, coming to give Musa on Kas and our Averis. If we didn't have Kas, we didn't have a Chet, we wouldn't need anything. The only Chamish Torah you wouldn't need and say for Yeshua. Why do you what's my timer? What's so Chashuv Hashem? Yeshua, keep a Roiv Chachma Rav Yisrael. Right? It's the boundaries of Eretz Yisrael are in there. So since the boundaries are in there, you have to go ahead. Why do we need to say for Yeshua? My timer, what's the reason? Kibaroiv Chachma Rav Koas. Okay, let's see the Ran on the Amid Aleph. Guys, the Ran on the Amid Aleph. Bottom line, Shnemar, Kibaroiv Chachma Rav Koas, Baroiv Direi Chachma Sanavim, from the majority of the wisdom of the Nevi'im, Yesh Simin Leroiv Kas, you see have a simin to the multitude of Kashech, Yisu Yisrael HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You see that, how much HaKadosh, they angered HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it wouldn't have been necessary. So that they wouldn't have been necessary because of. Okay, now we're going back to our regular scheduled program. We're going back to what? To oh, you want to hear more about Kas? I mean, listen, you got to. You know what you have to practice? You have to practice counting to 10 before you get angry, because when you get angry, it's much too late. You have to anticipate it beforehand. You have to. Also, I find very helpful if you know a person makes you angry, do one or two things: avoid him, or prepare yourself. Prepare yourself and say, you know what? I'm not gonna let it happen. I'm not gonna let it happen. I'm not gonna let it happen. I'm not gonna.
Spend $10 a month.
What?
Spend $10 a month.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the worst. That's pain. That's pain. Oh, yeah. Okay, anyway. Says the Gemara, Amar Avasi, Einis Kakan Lelokei Yisrael. Let's say a person uses the shame in a neder or a shvua. Einis Kakan. We're not going to go ahead, guys. We're not going to go ahead, Wad, and be mata. We're not going to go ahead and be in mata, right? Chutz, with the exception, Mikoinim Ishti Nenesli. A person says, "Koinim, my wife is koinim." That enough for me. That why am I asking my wife? And I know because she stole my purse or she hit my kid. In that case, if you know that, you're not going to go ahead and you're not going to go ahead and not be in the skak and kill Yisrael. Because what's going on over here? What's going on over here? Let's see. This ain't the skak and kill Yisrael. The kima shenishba b'shem shemayim. We're not going to let him off the hook. Since he used the shame, we're not going to let him off the hook. This guy was a mechutzif to mention the shame. We're not going to let him off the hook. He could have a good Pesach, Charata, whatever. We're not letting him off the hook because he used the shame. Except if a guy mistakenly goes ahead and he goes ahead and he makes a mistake. You see the Ran. There's a long run over here. It says, why is this not the Nidrei Shkagos, which you don't have to take off in the first place? And here it says, Mamash, you have to take it off. Why is it different Nidrei Shkagos that you don't have to take off? Okay, but we didn't do Nidrei Shkagos, so we won't do the run. Okay, says the Gemara, a few cases. Hahi the Asl Kamei Dervasi, Amalah, the Minor Drata, Belkei Yisrael, Amalah, Inadata b'moi shahaya kinoi ba'alma misakinala. If you would have made a neder b'moi, which is Moshe Rabbeinu, or a kinoi ba'alma, then I would go ahead and take off your neder. But hashta delinadata b'moi, you didn't make it b'moi. Elo belkei Yisrael, loy misakinalach. We're not going to take it off. Rav Kana iklei lebei Rabbi Yosef. Rav Kana came to the house of Rabbi Yosef. Amalei Rabbi Yosef to Rav Kana lifted my midi epis epis. Amalei Rav Kana to Rabbi Yosef loy, and then he made a neder. Then he said, Mari Kulei loy timnalei. Mari Kulei, the master of the world, loy timnalei. Amalei. So Rabbi Yosef retorted to him, loy Mari Kula loy timnalei. Now what does that mean? Now Rav Kahana dama loy Mari Kula. Rabbi Yosef, Mari Kula. We understand why Rabbi Yosef said, Rabbi Kahana said it, because he wanted to get off. He wanted to say, I'm not going to go ahead right and eat by you. So why is Rabbi Yosef? It's mash. What Rabbi Yosef do? Because I'm not making a neder that you should eat from me. But it doesn't make any sense. Says Gemara, here's what he said. Loi Mari Kula hu dekarmit. Loi, you know what? Mari Kula, you went ahead and made a neder with Hashem. Hilkach. Therefore, he's saying Rabbi Yosef is not going ahead and making a neder. He's explaining the same thing. Since you made it, Mari Kuli Alma, which is a Kadosh Baruch Hu, therefore, you can't take it off and eat by me. So he was substantiating it. Amrav Nachman Hilchasa, however, the halachas is Paisem Mecharata. We just went through the whole sugya. The halacha is that what? Charata, you could be Pesach, even without a Pesach. V'niskaken l'kel Yisrael, and even Niskaken l'kel Yisrael, you will be able to go ahead what? And do that. No, even that, you would be able to go ahead and take it off. Okay. Mishtabeach le Rav Nachman, but Reb Sechayra Dadim Gadolhu. Rabbi was praising to Rav Nachman about Rav Sechayra that he was a huge person. So Amaloi. So said Rav Nachman to Rabbi, you know what? When Rav Sechayra comes to you, they bring it to me. I want to go to see who you consider an Adam Gadol. And Rav Sechayra had a neder to take off. So Asla came to Rav Nachman, came from Rav Nachman, and Amalei, Nad Rishadaiti the Hachi. Rav Nachman said, did you make your das on this? Amalayin, yeah, I did. Adaiti the Hachi, another type of Pesach. Amalayin. In other words, Rav Nachman tried other Pesachim, and Sechayra was, what was he saying? I would have made the neder anyway. So obviously, Ikbid Rav Nachman, he was getting a little bent out of shape. And Amalei, he told Rav Sechayra, Zil Leclerc, go back to your porch. So Nafik Rav Sechayra, Pasach Pesach L'Navshei. And what did Rav Sechayra do? He walked down and says, he said, Rabbi says, Ezi derech yishara sheyav lo Adam, kol shu teferes lo Isah, but teferes lo min Adam. That every person has to have the action that you do should be positive. In other words, had I known that I would have got Rav Nachman angry, I wouldn't have made the neder. So Rav Sechayra Taka was an Adam Gadol. He set up the Pesach. He went ahead and he set up the Pesach. Okay, very good schmack. I will stop over here. Okay, thank you everyone for listening.
The first 15 minutes.